Saving money sounds great, right? But actually doing it? That's the hard part. Most of us get stuck in a cycle of spending. New phones, fast food, big bills, and wonder where all our money goes. But for the Amish, saving is just normal life. They don't chase trends or waste cash on things they don't need. Instead, they live with simple habits that add up to thousands of dollars saved every year. In a world where spending feels like breathing, the Amish stand out by keeping it simple, smart, and strong. They don't just survive, they thrive without throwing money away. Let's begin. Think about it. Every time you walk into a store, there's a whole aisle just for soap. Bright colors, fancy labels, strong perfumes. It looks cool, but it costs a lot. And most of it is packed with stuff you can't even pronounce. The Amish? They don't waste their money on that. They've been making their own soap for generations, and it's way simpler and way cheaper than you might think. All they need is animal fat, lye, water, and sometimes a little bit of essential oil if they want a soft scent. That's it. No secret chemicals, no fancy packaging, just old-school ingredients mixed by hand. They usually make big batches at once, enough soap to last the whole family for an entire year. Imagine not buying soap for 12 straight months. That's real savings without even trying. The best part? Homemade soap isn't just cheaper, it's better for your skin. It's free from harsh chemicals that dry you out. And because the Amish are careful about their recipes, the soap comes out strong, simple, and long-lasting. Some families even pass down secret soap recipes from one generation to the next. Making soap at home does take time. It's not instant, like grabbing a bar from a shelf. But when you stack up how much money you save and how much better the product is, it's worth it. A few dollars worth of supplies can turn into dozens of soap bars that last and last. No plastic bottles piling up, no wasted money, just another way the Amish prove that simple living beats fast living every single time. Step inside an Amish pantry and you'll see something wild. Shelves packed from floor to ceiling with giant sacks of flour, rice, oats, and sugar. No little bags, no tiny boxes, just serious supplies stacked high and deep. It's not about hoarding, it's about smart living. Buying in bulk saves big money. When you buy food in huge amounts, the price per pound drops fast. A 5-pound bag of flour might cost twice as much per pound as a 50-pound sack. Same food, way less money. And because Amish families cook from scratch almost every day, they actually use it all. Nothing goes to waste. Most Amish communities have bulk food stores. Some even have co-ops where families team up to buy giant shipments together, cutting the costs even more. They're not running to the grocery store every few days for overpriced snack packs. They plan ahead. They stock up smart. They stretch every dollar as far as it will go. It's not just about saving cash either. Bulk buying means fewer trips to town, which saves gas money too. It also means fewer chances to get tempted by junk food, fast food, or impulse buys that drain your wallet without you even noticing. Some Amish even grow a lot of their own ingredients and just buy what they can't produce. Then they store it properly. Sealed barrels, thick glass jars, dry cool rooms to keep it fresh for months or even years. Living like this takes a little more planning, sure, but it cuts down on stress, saves real money, and builds a home that runs smarter, not harder. And when it comes to surviving tough times, having a pantry full of bulk foods can make all the difference between feeling scared and feeling secure. Picture this. It's the middle of summer, and your tomatoes are ripening faster than you can eat them. Most people would stuff their fridge until it's bursting, or worse, watch the food go bad. The Amish? They have a better way. They store their harvest the old-school way, using root cellars dug right into the earth. A root cellar is basically a natural refrigerator. It's built underground where the temperature stays cool and steady all year long. No power switches, no noisy machines, just the quiet, steady chill of the earth doing the work for free. Amish families load up their root cellars with potatoes, onions, carrots, apples, and even canned goods. They can keep fruits and veggies fresh for months, sometimes all the way until the next growing season. Building a root cellar takes some effort at first. You need the right spot where the ground stays dry and cool. Some Amish dig right into hillsides, while others build stone or wooden walls underground to protect against moisture. Ventilation is key too. Fresh air keeps mold and rot from creeping in. Once it's set up, though, a root cellar saves serious money. No expensive electric bills from running extra fridges or freezers. No wasted food. No emergency grocery runs because dinner ingredients went bad. It's pure self-sufficiency. the kind of thing that makes a family stronger every season. Root cellars also teach patience and planning. Instead of living day to day, you think months ahead. You preserve what you have and make it last. In a world where so much gets thrown away, the Amish prove that with a little effort and a deep hole in the ground, you can stretch your harvest and your money farther than most people think possible. Walk into most closets today and you'll see the same story. Shirts barely worn, pants tossed aside because of one tiny rip. People buy fast, toss fast, and spend fast. But in Amish homes, things are different. Every piece of clothing matters. When something tears, they don't throw it out. They fix it with skill, patience, and pride. Patchwork is more than a chore to the Amish. It's a habit passed down through generations. If a sleeve rips, it gets stitched. If a knee wears thin, a sturdy patch goes on. Old clothes aren't trash. They're opportunities to make something last even longer. Some Amish women get so good at patching that their work is almost invisible. Others make the patches bright and beautiful, turning repairs into little works of art. This habit doesn't just save money on clothes. It also saves trips to the store, cuts down on waste, and teaches real respect for the things you own. Instead of chasing new trends or swapping outfits every season, Amish families focus on durability. A good dress might last 10 years. A well-made pair of pants might get passed down through 2 or 3 kids, with just a few careful stitches to keep them going strong. Patchwork also builds a mindset that nothing should be wasted. Not time, not money, not materials. When you fix what's broken, you're telling the world, I value what I have. It's a quiet, powerful way of living that turns simple repairs into savings that add up year after year. In a world where people are used to buying replacements without thinking twice, the Amish remind us, sometimes the smartest thing you can do is grab a needle and thread and save yourself hundreds without spending a dime. Think about planting a garden every year, but never needing to buy seeds again. Sounds impossible, right? Not for the Amish. They've turned seed saving into an art and a money-saving superpower. At the end of each harvest, Amish families walk their gardens and fields, searching for the best plants. Not just any plant, the strongest, the healthiest, the ones that fought off bugs and thrived in bad weather. They carefully collect seeds from these champions, dry them, and store them safely for next year. It's like picking the best players for a sports team, but for your garden. Saving seeds isn't just about saving a few dollars here and there, although it definitely does that. Over time, these seeds actually get better. They adapt to local weather, local pests, and local soil. That means Amish gardens grow stronger and produce more food year after year, all without a single trip to a seed catalog or a garden store. Most people don't realize it, but when you buy seeds every spring, you're starting from scratch. The Amish, on the other hand, are building a strong line of crops that get smarter with every season. It's farming with wisdom, not just luck. Seed saving also connects families to the rhythms of nature. They learn which plants to trust, when to pick seeds, how to store them without chemicals, and how to protect them through winter. Some Amish families even have seeds that have been passed down for generations, carrying the hard work and knowledge of ancestors right into the future. In a world that's all about quick fixes and easy buys, the Amish show that sometimes the best investment isn't in something new. It's in saving and trusting what you've already built. Picture a world where you don't need cash to get what you need. No credit cards, no bank loans, just trust, fairness, and a handshake. That's how the Amish keep their farms running strong with something called animal bartering. Instead of pulling out money every time they need a new cow, a horse, or even a bunch of chickens, Amish farmers often trade animals directly. Maybe one family has extra chickens and another has a young cow ready for sale. They make a deal, no banks involved, no crazy fees, just simple, honest trade. Bartering isn't just about swapping animals. It's about building real community trust. Every trade is a relationship. Families know who takes care of their animals, who raises strong stock, and who they can count on. That trust keeps deals fair and cuts out the middleman, saving everyone money and a lot of headaches. Animal bartering also means flexibility. If a farmer can't offer an exact trade, they might throw in extra feed, farm tools, or help fixing a barn. It's not about strict price tags. It's about making sure both sides walk away feeling like they won. Most people today couldn't imagine life without a trip to the store or a call to a bank, but Amish families prove that by sticking to bartering, you can meet big needs without emptying your wallet. Plus, it keeps skills sharp. You have to know the true value of a good animal, not just its market price, but its health, strength, and usefulness. In a world chasing money at every turn, the Amish show there's still power in a simple trade, a firm handshake, and a community that keeps each other going without debt. Most farms today buzz with the sound of engines, tractors plowing fields, machines planting seeds. It's loud, it's fast, and it's expensive. The Amish? They've stuck to a quieter, smarter way. They farm the old-fashioned way, with horses. It might sound slow, but it's actually brilliant. Buying a tractor isn't just about the big price tag. It's the gas, the oil, the repairs, the parts. All of it stacks up fast. Horses don't need gas stations. They don't break down because a spark plug fried. They eat grass, drink water, and keep working season after season. But it's not just about saving money. Horses are more flexible than machines. They can handle rough, muddy fields where a tractor might get stuck. They can navigate tight spaces without tearing up the land. And when they're not working, they can pull buggies, help haul logs, or even provide manure to fertilize gardens naturally. One horse can do the job of a tractor, a truck, and a fertilizer spreader, all without using a single drop of fuel. Taking care of horses does take time. They need feeding, grooming, and rest. But Amish farmers see that time as part of a life well lived. It keeps them close to the rhythms of nature, close to the animals they depend on, and far from the chaos of modern machines. In a world racing faster and faster, the Amish remind us that slow and steady can win the race and save thousands. By working with horses instead of fighting nature with machines, they prove that sometimes the oldest ways are still the smartest. Imagine a home without the constant hum of electricity. No light switches, no glowing screens, no buzzing bulbs. In Amish homes, light comes the old-fashioned way, through candles and oil lanterns, and the savings are bigger than you think. Without electric lights, there's no monthly electric bill draining their wallets, no repairs, no replacing light bulbs every few months, no surging costs when the rates go up. A simple lantern filled with oil or a handmade candle can light up a whole room, and do it for pennies compared to what electricity costs. Amish families don't waste light either. They use it where it's needed, when it's needed. A single lantern on the kitchen table for dinner, a few candles in the living room at night. No leaving lights on in empty rooms, no flood of wasted energy lighting up places no one's using. Using candles and lanterns also teaches mindfulness. You think before you light up. You notice the natural rhythm of day and night. When the sun goes down, life naturally slows. People talk more, read more, and reflect more, instead of staying up all night with TVs and gadgets. Making or refilling a candle or lantern takes time, but it's worth it. Every little flame is a reminder. Living simply doesn't just save money. It creates a richer, calmer life. In a world that's always plugged in, the Amish show that the soft glow of a simple candle can light up more than just a room. It can light up a whole way of life. Most people rush to the mall or scroll online when they need a gift. They spend tons of money on gadgets, gift cards, or fancy wrapping. The Amish? They pull out fabric, thread, and needles, and make something unforgettable. Quilting isn't just an old-timey hobby for the Amish. It's a true art form and a powerful way to save money. Instead of buying birthday presents, wedding gifts, or Christmas surprises, Amish families hand-stitch beautiful quilts. Some are simple and cozy. Others are colorful masterpieces with patterns passed down for generations. A homemade quilt isn't just a blanket. It's hours, sometimes weeks, of careful work. Every stitch is a show of love and care. When someone gets a quilt, they don't just get a gift. They get a piece of family history, something they can use, treasure, and pass on. It's way more meaningful than a gift card that gets spent and forgotten. Quilting also makes use of scraps and leftovers. Tiny bits of fabric from old clothes or other sewing projects get pieced together into new beauty. Nothing goes to waste. Instead of throwing out materials and spending money on store-bought goods, the Amish turn the old into something fresh, useful, and lasting. Quilting saves money year after year. Think about it. No shopping sprees, no overpriced gifts, no mountains of wrapping paper, just strong, meaningful presents that cost little but mean a lot. In a world where most gifts are picked fast and forgotten faster, the Amish remind us that the best presents are the ones made by hand and given straight from the heart. Step into an Amish kitchen during summer and you'll smell it. Sweet fruit bubbling, fresh vegetables sizzling, the sharp snap of jars sealing tight. It's canning season, and it's one of the smartest habits the Amish use to save thousands. Instead of letting extra fruits and veggies rot or buying canned goods from the store, Amish families preserve their harvests themselves. They fill jars with peaches, tomatoes, green beans, jams, jellies, and even meats. Rows and rows of colorful jars line their shelves, ready for winter. Homemade canning cuts grocery bills in a big way. When winter hits and prices rise, Amish families don't panic. They simply head to their pantry and pull out homemade meals that cost pennies compared to store-bought options. No last-minute dashes to expensive supermarkets, no worrying about shortages or price hikes. Canning also means nothing goes to waste. Every extra cucumber, every bruised apple, every basket of tomatoes too ripe to sell, everything gets used. It's a system built on respect for hard work and the land's bounty. The process takes time and skill. You have to wash, chop, cook, and seal everything carefully to make sure it stays fresh and safe. But the reward is huge. A few days of work in the summer can feed a family for months. In today's world, where so much food is tossed out and so much money is wasted, the Amish show a different way. One where smart planning, a hot stove, and a few glass jars can turn a good harvest into year-round security and serious savings. Walk through a modern toy store, and it's almost dizzying. Bright lights, noisy gadgets, expensive prices everywhere you look. But in Amish homes, childhood looks a lot different. Toys aren't bought in colorful boxes. They're built by hand, with love. Amish children grow up with simple wooden toys, often carved by their parents, grandparents, or even older siblings. Little wagons, miniature barns, carved animals, doll houses, and pull toys are common. No flashing lights, no batteries, no fancy sound effects. Just sturdy, beautiful toys that fire up a child's imagination instead of overwhelming it. Building toys at home saves families a huge amount of money. Instead of paying top dollar for plastic that breaks after a month, Amish kids play with toys that can last for years, and sometimes get passed down to younger brothers and sisters. Making toys also teaches important lessons. Children learn to value craftsmanship. They learn patience and creativity instead of always expecting the next big thing. A simple carved horse becomes a hero in an adventure. A wooden barn becomes the center of a whole day's play. The fewer buttons a toy has, the more ideas a child brings to it. Some Amish families even gather together during the winter months to craft toys as a community. It's a tradition that builds stronger families, saves thousands over the years, and keeps the spirit of play grounded in imagination instead of consumerism. In a world drowning in blinking screens and fast-moving gadgets, the Amish show that sometimes the simplest toys create the richest childhoods and the biggest savings. When a cough strikes or a headache hits, most people race to the pharmacy and load up on pills, syrups, and sprays. The Amish take a different path, one that's simpler, cheaper, and often just as effective. For everyday illnesses, Amish families turn to natural remedies they trust. Herbal teas made from mint, chamomile, or elderberry help with colds and fevers. Vinegar mixtures soothe sore throats. Poultices, thick herbal pastes wrapped in cloth, are placed on sprains or cuts to help healing along. They aren't quick to run to the doctor unless it's truly serious. This habit saves them thousands every year. Think about it. No endless copays, no mountains of prescriptions, no late-night runs to 24-hour drugstores. Instead, they rely on generations of wisdom, passed down from mothers to daughters, fathers to sons. Every family has their own collection of trusted herbs growing in the garden or drying on the kitchen wall. Natural remedies also teach people to listen to their bodies. Instead of covering up symptoms fast, they slow down and figure out what's really wrong. That kind of knowledge builds health that lasts, not just for the body, but for the budget too. Of course, if something serious happens, the Amish do seek professional medical care. But for everyday aches, coughs, and cuts, they prove that nature's medicine cabinet is often just as powerful and a lot easier on the wallet. In a world where healthcare costs keep skyrocketing, the Amish remind us that sometimes the best cures have been growing quietly around us all along. Most people think new is always better. New clothes, new furniture, new gadgets. But the Amish see things differently. For them, the best things aren't brand new. They're full of history, full of life, and full of savings. In Amish families, hand-me-downs are normal. Clothes, tools, furniture, and even kitchenware get passed down from one generation to the next. A sturdy oak table built by a grandfather might serve meals for 4 generations. A warm winter coat, carefully patched over the years, might keep 3 or 4 siblings warm before finally wearing out. This habit does more than just save money, though it definitely does that. It builds a sense of connection. Every item has a story. A worn hammer tells the story of barns built. A faded dress carries the memory of weddings and dances. In a world that constantly pushes for bigger, newer, flashier, the Amish quietly hold on to things that matter and save thousands while doing it. Keeping hand-me-downs also teaches people to take care of what they own. If you know something might be used by your children or grandchildren someday, you treat it differently. You repair it. You protect it. You value it. Instead of filling landfills with broken gadgets and torn-up clothes, the Amish stretch the life of their belongings as far as they can. And they prove that you don't need the newest, shiniest thing to live a full, rich, and joyful life. Take a drive through Amish country, and you'll spot something simple but powerful. Long rows of clotheslines strung between houses, barns, and trees. Shirts, dresses, socks, and sheets flap in the breeze. It's not just a charming sight, it's a brilliant money-saving move. Instead of using electric dryers, the Amish hang all their laundry outside. Sunshine and wind do the work for free. No buttons to push, no humming machines eating up electricity, just fresh air and natural energy. Skipping the dryer saves a lot more money than most people realize. Dryers are some of the biggest energy hogs in a house. Running one every day, or even a few times a week, can add hundreds of dollars to a family's electric bill every year. Multiply that by a lifetime, and the savings are huge. But the benefits don't stop at saving money. Air-dried clothes last longer. They don't shrink, break down, or get thinned out as quickly as they do in a hot dryer. Plus, there's nothing quite like the fresh, clean smell of sheets that have been dried by the sun and breeze. Of course, it takes a little more effort. You have to watch the weather. You have to be patient. But the Amish show that slowing down and using nature's power isn't just better for the environment, it's better for your wallet too. In a world racing for convenience, the Amish remind us that sometimes the simplest solutions are still the smartest ones. Imagine needing a new barn or a fresh roof and not having to hire a single contractor. No giant bills, no waiting for months, no loans hanging over your head. That's everyday life for the Amish, thanks to their tradition of shared community labor. When a big project needs doing, like raising a barn, building a house, or fixing storm damage, the entire community shows up. Neighbors, friends, and family members roll up their sleeves and get to work. Dozens of people come together, each bringing their skills, tools, and strong hands. What would cost thousands and take weeks gets done in a few days, with no money changing hands. It's not just a smart way to save money. It builds a network of trust and friendship. Everyone knows they can count on each other. When your time comes to need help, you won't be alone. Shared labor teaches responsibility too. Kids watch their parents show up and help, and they grow up knowing it's just what you do. You give your time, your strength, and your heart, not because you're getting paid, but because community matters. And it's not just barns and homes. Amish communities share labor for harvests, quilting bees, canning sessions, and even preparing for weddings. Every hour they give saves someone else hundreds or even thousands of dollars. In a world where people often feel isolated and overwhelmed by costs, the Amish prove that when you help each other, you don't just build barns, you build a life that's stronger, richer, and much more affordable. Walk into a grocery store today and you can buy strawberries in winter and pumpkins in summer. But it comes at a price: higher costs, longer shipping, and lower quality. The Amish skip all that. They eat with the seasons, and it saves them thousands. Instead of craving out-of-season foods, Amish families plan their meals around what's fresh right now. In spring, they feast on fresh greens and early berries. In summer, their plates are full of tomatoes, sweet corn, cucumbers, and peaches. Fall brings pumpkins, squash, and hearty root vegetables. Winter meals are built from canned goods, dried foods, and stored crops. This habit saves a huge amount of money because food that's in season is cheaper, fresher, and more abundant. It's picked nearby instead of flown across the country or halfway across the world. Less shipping means less cost. Less processing means better taste. Eating seasonally also means fewer cravings for processed or out-of-season foods that cost double or triple the price. Amish families learn to appreciate what nature gives them when it gives it, rather than demanding it year-round. It's not just about saving money, though. Seasonal eating keeps meals healthier. Foods picked in their natural season are packed with more nutrients, taste better, and support the body's natural needs through different times of the year. The Amish prove that by working with nature, not against it, you can eat better, feel better, and save serious money without ever feeling like you're missing out. When a new baby is about to arrive, most people today think about hospital rooms, medical bills, and insurance paperwork. The Amish? They think about home, family, and tradition, and they save thousands doing it. Many Amish mothers give birth right at home, helped by experienced midwives. Instead of a crowded hospital full of machines and strangers, labor happens in a peaceful, familiar place surrounded by loved ones. The focus stays on the mother, the baby, and the miracle of new life, not on forms, fees, or rushing from room to room. Home births save enormous amounts of money. A hospital birth in America can cost anywhere from $10,000 to $30,000 or more, even with insurance. A home birth, supported by a trained midwife, costs just a fraction of that. No huge bills, no surprise charges, no need for expensive hospital stays unless there's a true emergency. Midwives in the Amish community are deeply trusted. Many have attended dozens, even hundreds of births. They know how to spot problems early and when to call for extra help if needed. Most of the time, though, births happen smoothly and naturally, without a rush of unnecessary tests and interventions. Beyond the savings, home births keep old traditions alive. Babies are welcomed into a space filled with love, care, and history. Mothers are given the time to heal naturally, surrounded by family support instead of hospital schedules. In a world where healthcare costs are out of control, the Amish show that sometimes the safest, richest, and wisest path is right back where it all started, at home. Shoes wear out. It's just a fact of life. For most people, a hole in a sneaker or a scuffed boot means one thing: time to buy a new pair. But the Amish see things differently. They fix what's broken. They patch. They resole. They save. Instead of tossing out shoes at the first sign of trouble, Amish families bring them to local cobblers, skilled craftspeople who specialize in repairing footwear. New soles, new heels, sturdy stitches where the leather's cracked. All done by hand. A good pair of shoes can be repaired again and again, stretching its life far beyond what most people expect. Shoe repair costs a fraction of what buying new ones does. A few dollars for a resole beats $100 for a new pair any day. Over a lifetime, those savings add up fast, especially for large families where every child outgrows shoes almost yearly. Repairing shoes also teaches respect for what you own. It's a habit of care and attention. You notice when your soles start thinning. You take action before things fall apart. You value quality over constant replacement. Some Amish even make their own shoes entirely from scratch, shaping leather and stitching every piece by hand. But whether homemade or store-bought, the rule stays the same. Use what you have. Fix it when it breaks. Stretch every dollar as far as it can go. In a world rushing to buy new, the Amish remind us, sometimes the smartest move is to slow down, fix what you've got, and walk a little farther without breaking the bank. Most people today walk into a store, pick out a couch or table, swipe a card, and leave. It's fast, and it's expensive. The Amish do it differently. Instead of paying for factory-made furniture, they craft their own, and the results are stronger, more beautiful, and built to last for generations. In Amish homes, you'll find tables, chairs, cabinets, and beds made by hand. Every joint, every board, every curve is shaped with skill and care. Many Amish families build their own furniture when they start a new home, using wood from local trees and designs passed down through generations. Building furniture at home saves an incredible amount of money. Instead of paying thousands for something that might break in 5 years, the Amish invest their time and effort into pieces that can last a lifetime, or longer. A handmade oak table might serve meals for parents, children, grandchildren, and even great-grandchildren without needing to be replaced. Handmade furniture also teaches pride in craftsmanship. Every scratch, every groove, every polished surface tells a story of work, patience, and skill. Amish furniture isn't just useful, it's a living part of the family's story. And because it's built to last, Amish families avoid the endless cycle of buying, replacing, and throwing away that fills landfills and empties wallets today. One strong chair that lasts 80 years is a better investment than 8 chairs that last 10 years each, and the Amish know it. In a world chasing cheap, quick fixes, the Amish show that true value is built slowly, carefully, and with heart. When most people think about preserving food, they picture freezers packed full or cans stacked high. But the Amish have another method that's simple, smart, and saves a lot of money: drying. Drying food is one of the oldest preservation tricks around, and it's still one of the best. Amish families dry apples, herbs, corn, beans, berries, and even meats. They slice, hang, or lay foods out in warm, dry spaces. No fancy machines, no big electric bills, just the natural power of air, heat, and time. Dried foods last for months, even years, without the need for freezing or refrigeration. A basket of dried apples can sit on a shelf and still taste sweet a whole year later. Dried corn can be ground into meal or added to soups when fresh supplies run low. Herbs dried in the summer flavor meals all through the winter. This method saves huge amounts of money in 2 ways. First, by stretching the harvest way beyond its natural season. Second, by avoiding the high costs of refrigeration, freezing, and constant grocery store runs. Drying food also cuts down on waste. A bumper crop of peaches or a sudden overflow of tomatoes doesn't mean tossing the extras. It means drying them for later and turning today's abundance into tomorrow's security. In a world used to running freezers 24/7 and buying imported foods year-round, the Amish proved that a few simple drying racks, a little time, and a lot of patience can turn every harvest into a lasting treasure and save serious money along the way. Walk into an Amish home on a weekday afternoon, and there's a good chance you'll hear the soft hum of a sewing machine. Maybe you'll see a mother leaning over her work table, scissors flashing as she trims cloth, or a young girl carefully learning how to stitch a straight line. In Amish life, making clothes at home isn't just a tradition. It's a way of saving serious money, keeping family skills alive, and building pride in every stitch. For the Amish, clothing is about function, not fashion. They don't chase after the latest trends. They don't worry about designer labels or the color of the season. Their clothes are simple: solid colors, sturdy fabrics, modest designs. But what they save in style points, they more than make up for in value. A homemade dress or pair of pants costs a tiny fraction of what store-bought clothes would. When multiplied across large families, sometimes with 8, 10, or even more children, the savings are staggering. It starts with buying fabric in bulk. Amish families visit local dry goods stores or order through catalogs, choosing durable materials like cotton, denim, or wool blends. Instead of paying $20 or $30 for a single shirt, they buy enough cloth to make 5. They cut patterns by hand, using templates that have been passed down for generations, sometimes traced from brown paper bags, sometimes from well-worn wooden models. Every piece is measured carefully to avoid waste. The actual sewing takes patience and skill. Mothers teach daughters from a young age, starting with simple stitches and moving on to full garments. Some Amish families even host sewing bees, where neighbors come together to help each other sew dozens of dresses, shirts, bonnets, and trousers in a single day. It's not just work, it's a community event, filled with laughter, storytelling, and the hum of shared effort. Homemade clothes are also built to last. Strong seams, reinforced knees, sturdy hems. Every detail is meant to stand up to daily farm work, long buggy rides, and endless washing and wearing. When clothes start to show wear, they're mended, not tossed. A tear at the elbow earns a neat patch. A hem that's come loose is stitched right back into place. Clothes aren't seen as disposable. They're investments that deserve care and attention. And when a child outgrows a dress or pair of pants, those clothes are handed down to a younger sibling or cousin. A single dress might be worn by 3 or 4 girls before it finally retires to the rag pile, or gets remade into a quilt square. Nothing is wasted. Every scrap of fabric finds a second life. Making clothes at home doesn't just save money, it builds skills that can last a lifetime. It teaches patience, precision, and pride in a job well done. A teenager who has made their own Sunday shirt knows the value of their work and feels the satisfaction of creating something real and lasting. There's also emotional richness stitched into every piece. A dress sewn by a mother for her daughter's baptism. A jacket made by a grandmother for a boy's first day working in the fields. These aren't just clothes, they're memories you can wear. And the savings don't stop at the price of a single shirt. By avoiding the endless pull of fashion marketing, Amish families avoid a cycle that drains millions of wallets every year. No new wardrobes every season. No trendy brands. No expensive accessories. Just solid, simple, beautiful clothes that do their job without any noise. Of course, making clothes at home isn't instant. It takes time, sometimes hours, for a single garment. But the Amish see that time as well spent. It's time spent building, creating, and strengthening bonds between generations. It's time that would otherwise be lost to screens, shopping malls, or mindless trends. In today's world, where closets are bursting but satisfaction runs low, the Amish prove something powerful. The best outfits aren't the ones you buy. They're the ones you build, with your own hands, your own heart, and your own history woven right into the seams. Big weddings are everywhere today. Huge dresses, sparkling venues, fancy menus, and a price tag that can leave couples drowning in debt before they even say, "I do." But for the Amish, weddings are different. They're built on thrift, simplicity, and community, and they prove that you don't have to spend a fortune to have a day full of love and meaning. Amish weddings are simple but powerful events. When a couple decides to marry, the first step isn't booking a $10,000 venue. It's gathering family and neighbors to prepare. Most weddings happen at home or in a barn. Furniture is pushed aside, and space is cleared for rows of benches or handmade chairs. Some families even put up temporary structures using simple wood frames and tarps if the guest list is big enough. The decorations? No need for expensive florists or glittering lights. Amish families use what they already have. Quilts hung on walls, fresh-cut flowers from their gardens, greenery woven into garlands. Tables are covered in plain white cloths. Centerpieces might be simple jars filled with wildflowers, handmade paper crafts, or polished wooden items passed down through generations. Food is a huge part of the wedding, but there's no fancy catering company involved. Instead, friends and family come together days ahead of time to bake pies, roast meats, make mashed potatoes, and whip up giant batches of home-cooked dishes. The menu is hearty, filling, and completely homemade. Instead of paying $50 or $100 per guest like modern weddings often do, Amish families feed hundreds for a fraction of the price, and every bite is made with love. The bride's dress is special, but it's not flashy. In most Amish groups, the bride wears a handmade dress, often blue, but sometimes purple, green, or even black, that she can wear again for Sunday services after the wedding. It's made to last, not to be worn once and stored away. Some brides even sew their own dresses with help from their mothers or grandmothers, making the process even more personal. There's no professional photographer snapping endless posed pictures, no expensive DJs blasting music, no limousines lined up outside. Instead, after the ceremony, guests gather for singing, simple games, storytelling, and quiet celebration. Music is usually played on traditional instruments like the harmonica or fiddle, if it's used at all. Every part of the day focuses on what really matters, the joining of two lives, supported by family, faith, and community. The attention isn't on impressing guests or showing off wealth. It's on building a strong, lasting foundation for a shared future. Because they avoid massive spending, Amish couples don't start their married life drowning in bills. There's no wedding debt to pay off. They often start with a simple home, some handmade furniture, and the full support of their community, and that's more valuable than any ballroom or brand-name dress could ever be. In a world where weddings often become contests of who can spend the most, the Amish remind us that the most important parts of a wedding can't be bought. Commitment, love, faith, and the support of those around you. Their thrift-focused weddings don't just save thousands of dollars. They set the tone for a lifetime of living with gratitude, simplicity, and strong values. Turn on a tap today, and clean water comes pouring out without a second thought. But every drop costs money. And as water prices rise, most families don't even realize how much they're paying just to do simple things like water gardens, wash clothes, or clean dishes. The Amish have a better plan. They use one of nature's simplest, oldest gifts: rain. All over Amish farms and homes, you'll find rain barrels, cisterns, and tanks tucked under eaves, beside barns, and near gardens. Rainwater collection is a way of life. It's simple. When rain falls, it hits the roof, runs down the gutters, and fills large barrels or underground tanks. No complicated pipes, No expensive systems, just gravity and good planning. This free water gets used for everything you can think of: watering gardens, giving animals something to drink, washing tools, cleaning buggy wheels, and even for laundry in some cases. Every gallon caught is a gallon that doesn't have to come from a utility company and doesn't show up on the monthly water bill. But rainwater collection isn't just about saving cash, even though it definitely does. It also teaches respect for resources. When you have a limited amount of rainwater stored, you use it wisely. You don't leave hoses running or waste gallons on things that don't need it. You plan. You conserve. You think differently about what's truly needed. The Amish also use smart ways to make the most out of every drop. Some set up multiple barrels in a row, so when the first one fills up, the extra flows into the next. Some use old wooden barrels sealed with natural oils to keep the water clean and fresh. Some even build underground cisterns lined with stone or concrete, storing thousands of gallons safely out of the sun and away from evaporation. Rainwater is also softer than tap water, which makes it better for watering gardens and washing clothes. Plants love it because it's free of chemicals like chlorine, and it helps keep gardens healthier and greener all season long without the extra cost of constant irrigation. When droughts hit or city water gets restricted, Amish families don't worry the way others do. They have their reserves, they know how to stretch it, and they've built their homes and habits around the idea that water isn't something to take for granted, it's something to honor and protect. In a world racing toward higher bills and bigger shortages, the Amish show that catching a little rain isn't just old-fashioned wisdom. It's one of the smartest ways to live lighter, spend less, and stay prepared no matter what the weather brings. Everywhere you look today, it seems like there's a subscription for something. Streaming services for TV shows and movies, monthly boxes for snacks and clothes, app memberships for games, workouts, even recipes. One small payment at a time doesn't feel like much until you add it all up. Then it's hundreds or even thousands of dollars a year slipping right out of your bank account. The Amish don't play that game. They live without TVs, smartphones, internet, or endless digital subscriptions, and they save huge because of it. For the Amish, life moves at a different pace. Evenings aren't spent flipping through shows or getting lost in endless scrolling. Instead, families talk, play board games, read together, work on puzzles, or sit quietly outside watching the sunset. Entertainment comes from within the family and the community, not from a glowing screen asking for another $12.99 a month. Without smartphones and internet bills, there's no constant drain of app subscriptions, cloud storage plans, paid music libraries, or delivery service fees. There's no automatic monthly deductions, quietly nibbling at their savings. The money stays where it belongs, in their wallets. It's not just about saving cash, though. Living without subscriptions builds stronger families. Kids grow up knowing how to entertain themselves with real-world activities. They learn skills like woodworking, sewing, gardening, and cooking, not just how to find the next video online. Parents stay more connected to their children's lives without endless screens pulling attention away. Amish families also avoid one of the biggest hidden traps of modern life: the feeling that you're always missing something. In the digital world, there's always a new show, a new app, a new service you have to have. That pressure keeps people spending without thinking. By cutting out the noise, the Amish stay focused on what really matters: faith, family, work, and community. This way of life doesn't just avoid subscriptions, it avoids stress. There's no worrying about losing internet during a storm, no fighting over screen time, no feeling like life is happening inside a little glowing box while the real world passes by. Sure, living without constant access to every digital service takes adjustment, but the Amish prove it can be done, and that life can be even richer without a single monthly bill weighing you down. In a world that tells you to subscribe to everything, the Amish show a bold, simple truth. Real freedom comes when you stop paying for things you don't really need. Walk down the cleaning aisle of any big store and you'll see dozens of sprays, scrubs, soaps, and solutions, each one promising to make your house shine brighter, smell fresher, or kill more germs than the last. But all that sparkle comes at a high price. Brand name cleaners can drain hundreds of dollars a year. The Amish skip that trap completely. They make their own cleaning products using simple, natural ingredients like vinegar, baking soda, and lemon juice. And the results are just as good, if not better. Inside an Amish home, Cleaning supplies are straightforward. Vinegar mixed with water becomes a powerful window and surface cleaner. Baking soda scrubs sinks and tubs to a gleaming shine. Lemon juice cuts grease and leaves a fresh, natural scent behind. Sometimes essential oils like lavender or peppermint are added for a gentle, homemade touch. These ingredients cost pennies compared to fancy commercial brands. A single gallon of vinegar can be bought cheaply and used for dozens of different tasks around the house. Baking soda is equally affordable and endlessly useful. It deodorizes carpets, freshens laundry, and even unclogs slow drains when combined with vinegar. Making cleaning products at home also cuts down on chemicals. Amish families know exactly what's in their supplies because they mix them themselves. No strange artificial colors, no hard-to-pronounce ingredients, just simple, effective formulas that have stood the test of time. There's also a huge environmental bonus. Homemade cleaners usually come in reusable containers, cutting down on plastic waste. No more throwing away endless spray bottles and packaging after a few uses. A single sturdy glass bottle can be refilled over and over for years. Teaching children to clean with simple products also builds strong habits. Kids learn that you don't need a new spray for every surface in the house. One or two basic mixtures can handle almost every job. It's a lesson in creativity, self-reliance, and financial wisdom all rolled into one. Of course, it takes a little more effort. You have to mix ingredients and store them properly. You have to learn a few old-fashioned tricks, like how vinegar kills bacteria or how baking soda lifts grime. But once you learn, you never forget, and you never waste money on overpriced cleaners again. In a world addicted to buying specialized products for every little task, the Amish show that simple ingredients, homemade know-how, and a little elbow grease can keep a house sparkling and save a fortune along the way. Saving money doesn't always come from chasing the newest hacks or the latest trends. Sometimes it's about looking backward to a way of life that values work, patience, and simple wisdom. The Amish have shown us that you don't need the biggest gadgets, the fanciest brands, or the fastest service to build a strong, happy, and wealthy life. You just need the right habits, habits that stretch every dollar, respect every resource, and build a future brick by brick, choice by choice. From sewing clothes to bartering animals, from drying foods to drying clothes, every small action adds up to something big. It's not about living without. It's about living smarter, living lighter, living stronger. Now it's your turn. Which Amish habit would you love to start using in your own life? Drop a comment below and let's trade ideas. You never know whose life you might inspire with just one small change. And if you're ready to keep learning simple secrets that make life richer, hit that subscribe button and join a community that's ready to build a smarter future, one timeless habit at a time.